Good morning for Central European time. Good afternoon for a little bit to the east. We are starting the panel discussion today. We called it Digital Literacy in Eurasia. We're going to talk about what digital literacy can do to the populations, what kind of important messages we could send to our colleagues and our partners working in different countries of Eurasia, importance of digital literacy, and of course, what public systems and education systems can do to develop it and to help citizens to excel in this particular area of economic development. And we'll have the panel for 60 minutes today. My name is Tigran Shmis. If you saw an announcement, I represent the World Bank. I'm based in Moscow. I represent Europe and Central Asia unit of the World Bank, and I'm related to implementation of projects in different countries in Europe, in Central Asia, and beyond. And we have a panel of three esteemed colleagues. They will speak. In rounds, and I would like to introduce Rustam Gulov, media literacy and multimedia specialist in MediaCAMP project, Internews in Tajikistan. Hello, Rustam. I said that the Dosymkhanov, head of Department of ICT and Innovations at Zerde National Intercommunication Holding, Digital Kazakhstan, and represents Kazakhstan. Hello, Asset. And Ruslana Korenchuk, Diia.Digital Education Project Manager and Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. It's very, very promising name of the ministry. Hello. I suggest to start, and we have kind of a story that we want to deliver this time, I know that this is streamed over the Facebook, and you have the opportunity. So all viewers who are going to join our conversation have the opportunity to ask questions. So please do ask questions. I have a direct line with the organizers that would send the questions for our attention, but I would like to start with the following topic, this is basically a question that we are many times asking. So when we speak about digital literacy, we speak about priorities, and the first question that I would suggest to discuss and talk about by the participants is, what digital skills should be developed first among the population? What do you think about this particular question? Let's start with ladies. Ruslana, the floor is yours, and then we'll follow up.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet all of you. I'm very pleasure to discuss about the Digital Education Platform, what we do in Ukraine. In 2019, we prepare a national first of all, digital literacy, we prepare digital literacy research with the Ministry of Digital Transformation and of Ukraine, and provide, and this research show us that 43% of Ukrainian population have no basic digital skills. It's really very bad numbers, and the other positions that we have, that at the same time, almost 38% of Ukrainians are interested to learn digital skills. The methodology that we used, based on the European Commission on DCOMP 2.0 to calculate the digital economy and society index. And this is determined a level of digital skills. Therefore, these results have shown us that the Ministry of Digital Transformation should be involved and include digital education and raising the level of digital competence. So that is why we provide a project of Diia.Digital education It's a national platform that includes two components, offline and online. As for online component, it's an education innovation format that include educational series. It's this we call this edutainment, a modern approach that combines learning and entertainment. The main role in this education series are played by well-known Ukrainian film stars or singers or another popular people that together with the experts in corresponding spheres prepare some educational process and some very interesting educational content. Celebrities are also advocated of digital education. The result is now that we have 40 educational series at the platform, and the total number of people who watch them on the platform more than 440,000, and we have also additional coverage for people who watch the series on an online platform of two popular online media in Ukraine, 1+1 Video and MediaCAMP. As for offline platform, we have more than 6,000 libraries. It's the centers where everyone can learn a digital literacy. That is a physical space where there are a computer with a connection to the internet, of course, and the employee of the library offers a space which can help a person maybe simply turn a computer and start learning. The network of offline digital educational hubs is currently, as I say, 2,000 computerized libraries, and the other learning points for citizens. I mean that it can be not only the libraries, it can be the other popular spheres where people can go and learn something. Also,
may I a little bit intervene here? The question was about. So we'll talk about later, or we speak about our projects. Is basically we're going to talk about what was implemented. The question is, what do you think yourself is a first priority to train in terms of population? So what should people know basically? And that was kind of a question that we want to start with, and then we will talk about different areas and projects that we see as a ways to develop the thing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. First of all, we understand that right now we have a problem with like basic digital literacy that include, for example, really founds computer literacy, information literacy, working with big data or basically data, creation, knowing how to create creation digital content, knowing about communication and integration of digital literacy in our everyday life, security in digital sphere, and everyday solution a problem of the digital area. For us, it's the main 6 points and 6 spheres of digital education that we try to teach and to learn with our partners and with our people.
Thank you very much, Ruslana. I think it answers the question. So basic skills of how to work with information, computers, and then build it up slightly to advance in data analysis and so on. So Asad, may I come back to you and with the same question? What is the skills or digital skills that you think the most should be most prioritized if you have limited resources and budget? So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Tigran. So basically, the current situation in Kazakhstan is like we're developing fast according to our e-government platform where we deliver services for the population. So what we basically face right now is just we need to increase the level of the digital skills, how to use all these services, because we're spreading about and we're spreading the services and it's almost 85% of all government services being digitalized, and we are delivering them through mobile version, like on smartphones, through online platforms, through websites in our egov.kz. So basically, what am I as a citizen? What I face right now is just there are lots of processes, how to apply for different documents, how to get them, and it's basically the new sphere where you should just teach people how to use those old systems, because right now we are moving forward and the whole world is moving to the understanding about super apps, where there like one app where all the citizens will be using it, and having all these like services if you are just a citizen or you are like a owner of a company. So the way how the government should impact this is just like delivering more educational, stuff like trainings online, how to use it. Lots of tutorials are available now online, how to use it. So basically my main idea is just like the more we're being digitized, the more services we have, so the better the quality of our training should be, because it is the worst case when our main client as a citizen cannot use all these services. So this is one of the most important issues which facing, the current world and Kazakhstan itself right now. So we're spreading and using lots of resources, we're involving people, and right now government being really effective in the way how to use the social media to get the feedback from the citizens, and in the way how to improve. And we're now rethinking, and as Zerde, we're now re-engineering all these business processes in the government bodies, and we are building new like a basic and template architecture for all these processes to shorten the way how the final services can be delivered. And you should understand that lots of bodies, entities that should come up with one decision, and it takes time. So digitalization also should be about operational efficiency. So of course, on the other side, the main issue is just educate people who use these systems on the other side. So this is another issue when we need to increase their level of understanding how these processes can be digitalized, and how to analyze how much processes we should shorten and make it more effective. And the third issue that would like to arise is just involving big IT companies from the market to let them build this gap in digital skills. For instance, our Kaspi.kz is not only bank, but also is a fintech company that bringing lots of digitized services. In finance, they're helping people to understand. They already covering about 8 million people. This more like a adult and independent person that's above about 18 years old. So those parties, those banks, those private partners from market do a great job in educating people. They creating the easiest way to interact with them. And they're building new e-commerce platforms, and they're just showing up the benefits of digitalized world right now. So these basic three issues, and I think that it almost the main thesis here from me is just as far as we go with digitalization, we need to educate people how to use all these systems, and we should make it really user friendly, and we should always cover all this feedback in our work. Thank you.
Thank you, Asad. It's very, very well put and structured. Just to summarize, basically, the main message is that when the governments are quickly digitizing services and everything, they should think of the users. Yeah, so the users should be prepared to use those services, and how to do it is another story that I hope we will be able to touch today during our conversation. I think education should play a significant role, and there is age considerations there as well. So how much it is important for youth, and structurally youth is different. And then as people are growing older or going older, so with older populations, it's also it's another story, another approach. So it's quite interesting topic to discuss. But let me give the floor to Rustam. Please go ahead. And the question is the same: what skills should be prioritized in population?
Well, okay, when we talk about the basic skills related to the digital literacy, I think we can divide all the skills into two big groups. First of all, it's some technical skills like ability to find information, save it, working with data, also with protecting your personal data and so on. And the second big group is some cognitive skills like creativity, like critical thinking and critical evaluation of the information which you gather from the using this digital resources, online resources, and any other source. That's why I think this skill is the basic skill which we have to develop among the population is the critical thinking and critical evaluation of the information which they work with. That's why in this field the digital literacy has a very strong relation to the media literacy, to the information literacy. That's why we cannot talk about digital literacy separately from the media literacy and from the information literacy. And in this field, we in all these three topics, the basic skill is the critical thinking and critical evaluation of the information. That's why I think I'm pretty sure that this skill should be developed among the population, among all the groups of the population, not only among the youth, but also among the elder population. It should be developed the first time, first of all.
Thank you very much, Rustam. I think I very much agree with what you say, and the critical thinking, along with other, we call them soft skills, are very important, and they are very much related to digital skills and topic. And I think our next question is about how do we popularize or maybe distribute or spread the information about the digital skills, and what are the best ways to do it. I think Ruslana started this with her speech a little bit, and she touched upon it. Maybe we will hear from her. But I propose to start other way around. I will give the floor to Rustam, and please, what do you think? What would be the best way to distribute the knowledge about digital skills or popularize it among people? Please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, the education system should work here in this field very strong and very careful, but also very careful, because teaching people thinking critically is, if we talk about this skill like a core skill of digital skills, that's why it is very important and a very sensitive issue, because when we talk about governmental educational system, they think that critical thinking is not so important, and it is some threats, even it's some threat. When the people started thinking critically, they will critical thinking about all the information, also about that information that they will receive from the propaganda, from the government media. And that's why it's a sensitive issue, but it's very important when we talk about digital literacy. That's why in this field we the educational system will play the main role. That's why they should understand that the critical thinking is not a threat, but it's also the opportunity to make people more critical thinking is means that they also will critical thinking about all the information, not only about some sensitive moments from regarding to the propaganda, but also from the and other propagandas, which is also threats for the information space of the country. That's why the education system should play the main role. But also, we have to understand that the access to the information, access to the digital resources, access to the internet is very important. For example, in our country, internet penetration is around 30%. That it is not enough to develop and the population skills and population to give them access to all the information which is on the internet. That's why the technical development of the country, technical development of the communication system of the country is also important. That and is one of the main things and one of the main fields where the government should work in this field. And but in this moment, they also should provide internet providers and companies, telecommunication companies, with some benefits, some opportunities to use new technologies to bring these new technologies to the country. Maybe it should be one of the solutions for the spreading the knowledge about digital literacy, because it's the basic things.
Yeah, it's thank you, Rustam. I guess this is hard to disagree. School should play a role, and if I heard your message right, for countries where you have issues with basic infrastructure, the best way to popularize digital literacy is basically bring the infrastructure to people, and this is exactly what governments should focus on. I agree. So let's ask Asad. Asad, what do you think? What is the best way to distribute the knowledge and actually engage people in digital literacy?
Okay, so colleagues, I agree with you totally about the topic that infrastructure and access to the internet is just like the main issue. And beginning from this, we are just helping and giving the source of information for people. And of course, it's coming up with the interest, where they're covering the interest, whether there is enough information. It always involves, and I believe that every sector of our life has been covered with any like digital solution or digital application, and we are not like living without anything being digitalized or without any devices. So I think about 95%, I think, of all people just using digital devices and etc. So they being a part of this digital ecosystem, I mean, in every country. So in this case, what about the methods? I think that with most the companies that I spoke to and with most like people who were like joining lots of seminars, they understand that the most effective way to spreading digital literacy, it's about like offline meetings. And of course, this pandemic just like providing the huge impact in the way that not all the people are getting information efficiently, because the current methods of digital literacy, it's all about the video, I mean, recorded trainings online on websites. So there are a few platforms. One of these, we're using Zoom to give this live, I mean, discussion, and it's always been using in our schools, I mean, in Kazakhstan. So the main issue is just we're not like incorporating the innovation projects that help to cover the offline benefits of teaching and getting the offline benefits with I mean, online benefits of covering most people more effectively. So we have some projects that provide solution how to cover them, but it always like about the scale, and we cannot cover all the schools. So so I think that of course, like post pandemic, methods of traditional education will give the much more effect. But now we are in the stage that digital literacy is not like the issue that should be covered on the government side only. So of course, the most effective way is just give some direction to the, governments, to the mayor's offices, just to go and buy something, but it's not like it's coming with force without a real deepened understanding of the need of all these like digital skills. So the best, I think, method to spread the digital literacy is just to show the population, to each citizen, that the future is in digital world. So that's why Kazakhstan is bringing like huge tax exemptions for IT companies. They're creating the jobs for people, and these jobs showing up that there is a money there is a salary, there is a better life there. That's why people always like inducing and the children to go to study more. So I think that's the best way, is just showing up the better future and to showing up the direction. So there is no like the best way, but one of the directions and one of the methods that's been used in Kazakhstan is just creating the creative environment in IT where the people being involved. So now we are there are a lot more like students that studying in IT here. We have lots of programming schools being opened. We are bringing the low interest rate loans to the bodies that would like to open those programming schools as well. So when the all like puzzles are being set, I think this is the organic way to grow the basic interest of the citizens to increase this level of digital literacy and digital skills. So that's like the case that's been used in Kazakhstan, and I believe, I'm a patriot, I think that there is a huge improvement right now, because all these government like benefits with exemptions and with loans have been began about 2 years ago before pandemic. So we had some time to bring the stronger IT community that helped to to get all these barriers from the last year pandemic period.
Thank you, Asad. It's really interesting concept. I agree. The pandemic was one of the natural way to bring people into digital space, and we finally got into this digital space immediately, and I think irreversibly. But then when you bring people into you bring a crowd into one place, you have to give them something, right? So you have to give something to do, to understand why are they in there. And for many reasons, I guess people were quite appreciative of the digital technology in places where we were able to enable the potential. I think there were some disappointments in places where we couldn't, but actual potential was enabled. And the next thing to think of is before we have all the say foundational issues solved, something like the infrastructure, then you have content and you have people and platforms and digital space. Then we should think about the skills and things that they could really see as useful. And with that, let us ask Ruslana, what was your vision of and since you represent the Ministry of Digital Transformation, what it means in terms of bringing people in, and what is the most efficient way to do this?
Thanks. We think that digital literacy is like an ability to write, read, and count. So we try to convey the knowledge to our people in easy and really fun way. As I said, we try a format of educational that we called an educational series or educational movies. We include there really famous people from Ukraine, like famous stars, famous musicians, famous somebody. who promote the topic of digital literacy. We include these people to our serials and try to ask them how digital literacy really help in their everyday life, and how it can promote and help the other people in our country. The topics and the themes of the series is very different, really. From basic skills, digital skills, to how to become a tech blogger, how to become a digital lawyer, what is a blockchain, what is Bitcoin and cryptovalues, for example, what is artificial intelligence. I can show you my screen and show my, for example, site of you can see now for all of our serials. For example, this is about entrepreneurs for schools. That is about law, and that is about also cyber security and the others. So as I told the previous session, right now we have 40 short serials that everyone can see and also can match the most interesting thing to them. So I stop my video. So our way is a fun way and really easy way to explain, maybe in some kind not so easy topics in an interesting way.
Thank you, Ruslana. It's really interesting and impressive that the whole series were filmed basically for the population and promoting the ideas of digital literacy. That is a good example, and personally I will use it. Thank you very much. That is really great, and I would suggest you to continue, because we are moving to the next question, and the question is who should be eventually responsible for digital literacy, and how do we arrange it in the countries? I understand that countries could follow different paths and different approaches to this. Some would give it completely to the market. Some would take the lead and introduce some policies, and there could be a mixture. But what do you think? Who should be responsible? And maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on it.
Okay, in our way, as you know, I represented a digital Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, and we think that it's our role, and we are the main player in this area. But also we understand that a lot of people, including the other our ministries, are included in this process. For example, the Ministry of Education of Ukraine, the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, other ministries also included, and in really deep communication, we prepare this educational programs, educational series, and educational right now tests, because for example, we prepare also a national platform, a national test for digital education for our citizens. It's called Цифроgram or Digigram. It's for 90 questions that try to measure our really our understanding of digital literacy, and according to this test, we understand that really a lot of people of Ukraine don't know digital literacy on a basic level, and we as a ministry try to connect these people with our educational process. Also including, okay, another non-government organization, also including business. So we understand that this is a whole process, a very deep process, and our success determined of deep communication between all of these players.
So the bottom line is that in Ukraine you decided to lead the process, and the government is basically responsible eventually for the whole process, but you engage on all other.
Yes, of course, business and non-government organization, another just people and volunteers who want and try to connect to this process.
Okay, so we'll probably be back to discuss this. It's really interesting. I would give the floor to Asset. Asset, please elaborate on this particular question. Who should be ultimately responsible for digital skills in the country?
Okay, so my point of view is always the government case, especially in Kazakhstan. So my next thesis will be like continuing the previous description about how the Kazakhstan is stimulating people to acquire the necessary digital skills as well. So in this case, when the government has created the incentive for people to study and to get the knowledge, so the next step is about the counter liabilities being set for those IT companies that getting the tax exemption. So we have put several liabilities from those companies getting all these benefits to educate people for free. So one of the cases we launched about 2 years ago, and we do it annually. So what we basically do, we just asking those companies and their experts to make on a monthly basis some training seminars about any topic in digital area of the interest or of the specialization, where they can freely explore those new fields for any kind of specialist or just a citizen or even children. So what we basically do, thanks to the pandemic, we have switched fully to online broadcasting with the current platform that we use now. So and we're covering yearly about 4,000 people, and we're covering all the topics beginning from the most advanced one regarding of application of blockchain, and beginning and ending with just simple skills in building like 3D models in the freeware on the freeware software. So it just depends on the interest, but we're stimulating do this, and we'd like to create a collaborative environment where everybody is free to share their knowledge and share their expertise. So of course I can set up one of the problems of this approach is it's covering mostly the biggest cities in the country. So the next step for us after we discovered this gap was just creating the regional programs. We've been inviting those tech parks in the regions to like bringing their students there, to bring our experience them, to accelerate the startups. And why I'm saying that I'm coming up with to the startups, because those people are building solutions that should be user friendly. So almost every application has its own tutorial how to use it, and it always create the incentive for people to study how to use all these like ecosystem or all this framework of services that have been on those apps and of that startups. So that is the way how we are covering the third stage of the government support, like tax exemption initiative, when it comes with liabilities for the companies and startups, and they're building like more user-friendly and more valuable solutions for the citizens, for their clients. And this is the way how it like covers like about three ways how those companies educate people. So I think that's the case. And of course, I have already talked like about the government low interest loans, and of course the great issue is bringing private investors here. So we have already launched 01 Edu system. It's a franchise of the Ecole 42 programming school, and it's free for anybody. And we're bringing new business model where those programming schools educating for free, but in fact they, as we can say, sell those people skills to the bigger companies. So by creating these ecosystems of bringing those interaction between all the parties, and when we understand the need of all the sides of the ecosystems and all the participants of it, we can bring the synergy where what's basically the government should do is just to explore this value for each side, because the main problem, I think, and the main issue that almost I mean in Central Asia like countries is facing the lack of open discussion. We do it frequently. That's why we understand the needs of all the interest parties, and we can bring this synergy and bring this, I mean, matching, just to help them to build some, I don't know, like better products. I mean, bringing better skills, and this all like a bunch of government like initiative help to gear up all the ecosystem and bringing the effects to the economy. So in this case, we are really like the ecosystem approach, understanding all the parties and the interests, and bringing those missing gaps or where the government should be a player. And we are like use it frequently, and we analyze it. So of course, what we need to do is just in current situation is to understand and we're now ending up with loop where the government is what another like a set of benefits and initiatives we need to bring to increase the impact, because the multiplicative like effect will be only when we're continuing on iteration basis, coming up with all these analysis, new initiatives, counting effects, and bringing all this together. That's why we're like our current minister having lots of open discussion with IT community, with just citizens. We have lots of like questions from just a simple citizen coming up from the region with their ideas how they can improve the economy. And I will honestly say that me and my team are preparing answers for them, what we are doing, what they can do, and this really friendly and easy networking method is always the case, because we understand what our client or our citizen needs, and we can bring the most pragmatic and critical suggestions what kind of initiative the government should launch. So that's the case in Kazakhstan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asset. It draws a nice picture of what governments could do actually to help create the environment. And the main message, I guess, from Ruslana and from you is how the government could create the environment, and with policies, with stimulus, to enable all the gears in this spin in the right direction and help people. And create and develop digital literacy. I agree. Rustam, I will ask you a little bit, elaborate on this particular thing. The question is who is in charge, and maybe start with the second thing, which is with another topic that we are covering today is when the government or not government, who is going to be in charge first, and when you speak about the digital literacy, could you speak a little bit about the equity topic? So you will start, and we will talk further with other participants. So under equity, I mean the digital literacy benefits all the population, not the small fraction of population, basically. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. No, of course, I agree that it should not be some elitary product or elitary knowledge which is where could have access just only one small group of the population. It should be spread and disseminated among all the population. What we should take into account that in the 21st century, digital literacy is one of the main things and one of the core things, which is highly related to the ordinary literacy. In the 21st century, it is not enough to can write and read texts. It is also you have also be able to create content for the digital platforms. You have know how to media works, how the information is spreading, how to work with this information using digital tools. That's why it's a part of the right to education. That's right. In this, if we will talk about digital literacy as a part of the right to education, when we should understand that the government is will responsible in this field, because the right to education is a positive right where government should create circumstances should develop this situation to give their access to the education system to all the population. Even when I talk about education system, I don't mean just schools or universities, but also the additional courses, maybe additional some trainings for different groups of the population. Because when, for example, when we talk about transition to the digital television, not all the population understand what is this, and that's why the government should explain, should teach the people, should be responsible for this, to educate people, to educate the population, all this new technology, new things which is created year by year, and is this to make this transition more easier and faster, and in all the fields, not only e-governments, not only in digital television or some kind of this very popular things here, but in all other fields of the work with the population.
Thank you, Rustam. Just one piece of information for you is for all of us is basically the new data that is coming from education systems across Eurasia and the world shows basically that the digital access to digital technology and advancement of digital technology after the pandemic hit the education systems basically benefited the rich and top percentage of populations. Just a recent piece from Georgia, for example, came in, and it showed again that the poor children from the disadvantaged populations, they suffered more learning loss than those who are from the top. And it's always like that. When you look at any country, you will have this gap. But it looks like the pandemic and the lack of access to digital technologies actually affected even more. So the gap grew. But when we speak about digital literacy, we want to hope, and we believe basically that the technology eventually could help improve this kind of equity and reduce poverty and so on. So could you speak a little bit more about how you see, and maybe I will ask Ruslana, how your ministry sees this particular topic? So how the systems could really help people to overcome poverty and maybe to reduce the digital gap. And for attention, we have 10 minutes left. Let's try to be concise. Please, Ruslana.
Thanks. We see that really our educational system, as you say, have some gaps. Okay, in the digital literacy, and we understand that the problem of access to the network, to the internet, and even we have a statistic that 7,000 of Ukrainians have not any single gadget. It's one of the main problem for us, okay, but we in the ministry try to join in creation a high-speed internet network access. And the other side was their digital educational system that we try to prepare in Diia.Digital education project that I try to prepare and talk about in the first stage.
Great, thank you, Ruslana. Asset, please go ahead.
So okay, so the main my thesis in this case will be just I'm just in mind that after pandemic and I mean along the pandemic, there more and more people were self-employed because just simple jobs like I mean taxi drivers and etc. Lost the opportunity to earn money. So that's why I think one of the areas of interest of the government should be the rise to the understanding that we need more and more freelancers and creating a freelance like culture where we should bring and support initiatives like I mean Upwork and other platforms where the people can get those projects to get those opportunity to earn money, because I think the simplest way how the people use to earn money is covering the, if we look through an economy, is all about the services. So that's where we see and where I see that the main damage being made is just about showing the people that when the pandemic and other circumstances comes, we need to build a more sustainable and more stable revenue stream. So in that case, I believe that this year and overall, I mean, even according to the PwC's recent research, that companies are coming to bring more and more freelancers to their work and giving more and more work outsourced and to even in their operating, I mean, processes. So I believe that bringing all these platforms will create another gap that we again need to teach people how to use it, and we also need to cover to clarify legislation, I mean tax code as well, how we should treat all these people and help them to make all these revenue streams legal. Because another way, when we have such crisis like a pandemic, we also understand that people's incomes are more spread and it's not being, there is no mainstream where they get the income. So in that case, we need to showing up where is the real, I mean, where the real jobs are. So from this side, I believe that freelance culture should be developed, and we should give this attention more to the government, because remote work and the way how to organize yourself, and it's all this set of skills should be given to the people. And in that case, when we have the right legislation, we have trainings, we have understanding how to teach people how to use all these platforms, when we give them a clear view where the demand is on their skills. And of course, I mean, the lawyers, I mean, in digital, they need to understand how to use all these platforms. And again, when we can cover all the identify, then we can quantify what will be the impact and how we reduce. So because we understand that the digital solution brings new revenue streams, but the government cannot see, cannot identify when we are paying taxes or not, what's the source, what is the source of it, and we lack of real information about the way, what was the main reason of the income. But when we bring such platforms and when we're always up to date with our legislation, and we can show up that the people can work, then we can quantify what's the poverty reduction is and what's the growth rate for the economy. Because as far as I know, more than 50% of the population of the Kazakhstan are not in the creating of product state. They're more about bringing services.
Okay.
That's why I believe that bringing such platforms and bringing like IT freelance economy will help to quantify it and will help to give the growth. Because I see that because other revenue streams in Kazakhstan is more about the mineral extraction and the carbon extraction. Okay. I mean the oil and etc. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Asad. I think you did a nice link back to the digital technology. So to the platforms and the databases that show us the sources of income could help eventually to overcome the poverty, understand the sources of poverty, the pockets of poverty, and really target the interventions that Ruslana spoke about and Rustam to help those people that are in a difficult situation. But overall, I should say before we wrap up, I should say one thing. I think that the pandemic itself was a brutal test of the digital technologies for the whole world. And what we saw unfolding over this year is basically the things that we didn't see before, but they happened. The digital gap was there and it's still there. And I think closing the digital gap will eventually help us to bring people from the poverty, bring people from inequality, and basically help them to strive for the better of the economy. And the last thing I wanted to do for this one, the very quick round of in 1 or 2 sentences, please share with our audience what is your view, what is the level of digital skills or digital skills of population that would qualify you a digital state, so to speak. So if your country, if you would imagine you call your country digital state, what kind of skills of population you would see? Very quick round of answers, please. Ruslana.
I think it's more about the content creation that we can, and we do it one of the best, but we have a really big gap in cybersecurity and security of information, basically. But we try to prepare and improve our digital literacy.
Great. So digital literacy in terms of content creation.
It's a new black for us.
Great.
Like okay. You know, this movie, digital literacy for Ukrainians are like now right like a new black.
Great. Asad, please.
I would say that my main thesis will be here. The more complex system we build, the more we need to educate people to use it. So my main idea is we need to incentivize people, stimulate them and the companies to bring more simple solutions that even like the children can intuitively understand how to use several tablets and smartphones. This is the way, the easiest way to use all these systems should be, and what the government should.
Great Asad, thank you. The last word is yours.
Okay, thank you. And I also agree with the Asad that simplification is the mainstream of the online services, digital services, and that's why if these platforms will be simplified as much as possible, then the level of the digital literacy it's not demanded to be high. The basic skills is enough to work with these platforms and to participate as an e-citizen in this world, in the digital state.
Okay, so I will conclude with Ruslana, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to add that we are in the ministry try to prepare and build state in a smartphone. It's our motto, and digital education is one of the most.
Oh, you muted yourself, I guess. The last sentence, please.
I told it that we try to prepare and state in smartphone. It's our motto in digital Ministry of Digital Transformation in Ukraine, and for us, our digital educational system and Diia.Digital education project is very interesting, and we try to do it like that.
Thank you, Ruslana. Thank you, Asset. Thank you, Rustam. Our time is over. I guess the discussion was very fruitful, and those who were watching it online, we actually didn't receive any questions yet, but we could expect some questions on YouTube maybe, and the organizers will share with us. But that is very useful. I should say I learned a lot. Thank you very much for this. And the major point is I would follow up with Rustam's words that the digital state or level of the digital state would be in not in the complexity of the system, but in the harmony between the skills of population and the systems that created for them. Right, so you can reach the state of the digital kind of digital state, and quote unquote, with simple systems, but people understand how to use them and they really use them. So that speaks volumes, because basically you say that people really use the systems, and that is the way to call a digital state. So when people are using the systems in the digital way, in a digital format, that's enough to say that you reach the digital state. And then we are wrapping up. Thank you very much. I hope we will meet again over this virtual environment, and thank you for all your interventions. And we will follow up with the organizers with all the links and information further.